I hold him, shits all over my leg and foot.
Sprays it or like drips it?
Like it was sprayed.
The Dad Collective Podcast.
And we are back. New year.
Wow.
New studio.
Ish.
New sign.
New sign.
And new dad.
Holy shit.
Season 2.
I was going to say, holy shit, I'm a dad, but holy shit, season 2.
Yeah, holy shit, season 2 is about you being a dad.
Here we are.
And here we'll stay for the next 12 episodes.
Are we going to do 12 again?
I don't know. I'll do 100.
It's like we're further apart now.
Well, that's kind of what babies do to you. They drive your friends further away from you. But for those of you that are just joining us, maybe now for the first time for season 2, I'm Daniel.
I'm Paul.
And this is
the Dad Collective Podcast, season 2.
It's crazy.
This is wild. So we've been off for probably about 7 weeks.
We've been off for a while, and I'm going to jump in very quickly soon in a moment to basically the timeline will be very obvious when we start talking about how old your baby is, and you're going to announce his name for the first time on this show.
Was it one of the names from before?
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
No, it was not. But nonetheless, it is a great name.
But before we just jump into that, how have you been, man? How were the holidays?
Yeah, so today's date, can we give today's date just to give some frame of reference?
We're in January.
We're in January.
Ooh.
It's sometime in January.
It's about to be an insane snowstorm in Toronto.
Yeah, so I'm driving home after this.
Godspeed.
But I've been doing well. The new year, yeah, let's talk about me because it's not as exciting as you. No. So we'll save you.
This is all about me, guys.
We'll save you for last. But the year wrapped up great. We had our great New Year's show with our friends, and can we call it great?
There was a lot on the cutting room floor. I'll just leave it at that.
I'll say that if we ever become big enough that we don't care about what people think, then let's release like some of the clips that we just talk about, like because like you're with your friends and sometimes you realize, this probably we shouldn't be talking like this for the whole world. I was
in bed with Jess and I was watching the rough edit because I was like, you need to send me an edit before you post it.
Yeah.
And I thought there was only like one thing that needed to be removed. And Jess is like, you're not posting this, are you?
Yeah, because you forget that you're talking to, hopefully a lot of people. But again, nothing crazy, but it's just like, no, and it's more about nobody cares because it's between the four of us, right?
Yeah, and it's we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, so we have a different comfort level.
Yeah, it was different.
But yeah, so my year wrapped up well. We for New Year's we had obviously you can't do much when you have a kid. You're going to find that out next year. Well, you found it out this year because baby boy was born before the New Year. Mm-hmm. But we stayed home. We had my sister and her kids over. We ordered Chinese food.
Yeah.
And we all were in bed probably by about like 10 o'clock.
You didn't even watch
No.
I have a newborn and we watched the ball drop.
Newborns are easier because they sleep anywhere. But like my kids can't sleep like they could sleep on the couch, but they wouldn't. They're tired. They want to go upstairs. Yeah, we stayed out later with a newborn.
I remember, and this is going to be actually tying back to the guys who were on it previously.
Yeah.
Howard Stern one year did a New Year special on pay-per-view. Do you remember this?
The Channel 9 show.
With Ass Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember, I think it was Jeremy taped it. And we watched it.
Yeah.
And we felt super naughty.
It was great.
We were naughty boys.
Yeah. Well, even listening to Stern, like on the way to like school, felt wrong. But yeah, so
You're a big Stern guy.
I love Stern.
You do.
It's changed over the years. I don't love him as much as I used to, but I do still like him. So we were in bed early. The next day was just hanging around. Like the kids were home, right? So we had kids home for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Luckily, the second week, we found essentially like a camp, like a winter camp that the kids can, the girls can go to every day because their school is still closed. Okay. Because we have to still work. Like we're not off like Jan 1st to Jan 7th. And so the kids got to go to this camp every day, which was out of school. Nice. And they loved it.
When were the kids off this year? Like, was it closer to
later.
Christmas?
Yeah, it was like, no. So it was weird. And I don't know if this ever happened when we were kids, but the first day off was December 25th because December 25th was a Monday.
Oh, okay.
So it was like that week. And then the first week of January, where usually it's almost like the week leading up to Christmas and then the following week, like up until like the 3rd or 4th of January. But this was, they didn't go back to like the 8th or the 9th. It was nuts.
It was strange because normally like with me for real estate, I get back in touch with my clients the week after New Year's.
Yeah, everyone was still off.
So it's been a little delayed. So any of my clients who were watching,
sorry,
your gifts are in the mail. Literally, like they get sent on Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
What did we get this year?
You're not one of my clients.
Oh,
You were, but then you lost that right when your wife became a real estate agent.
If you want to get me back, send me a gift.
They're cookies. They're awesome cookies.
I love cookies.
Cookies
so.
are fantastic. But
Cookies are great.
yeah, so we moved back into our house, which we'll get into on New Year's Eve. So we were pretty tired. What did we watch? We watched that. It was the movie with, oh shit, I'm blanking. So this is irrelevant. We watched a movie on Netflix. And it was actually really entertaining.
But then you said you watched The Countdown?
Oh, it was the new Mark Wahlberg movie when he was
Oh, like the Netflix,
one
that made for Netflix. Was it funny?
I liked it. I love Mark Wahlberg.
It seemed like a good romp.
It's like
a good little
he's
whatever.
Suburban dad /
ninja.
Used to be secret agent.
It seemed like a modern day version of True Lies, was it? And at all
True
like
Lies.
that?
I think we have the tape on our new set, don't we?
Yeah, we got some 90s stuff. Yeah, because like we again, me and Paul, we grew up in the 90s.
Yes.
And so we wanted to, as dads who are essentially like kids in the 90s, we wanted to bring some of that vibe to the studio. So if you're listening to this on like a podcast stream, make sure you check out the YouTube because we got some new cool signs, some cool props, Easter eggs. Look around, check it out.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments and people messaging me about our obscure movie knowledge and 90s TV stuff. So
maybe the next podcast is a movie podcast.
Maybe we're gonna keep that coming. But should we just dive right into it?
We're about to. I just wanted to finish up one thing. Okay. So did you? So did you watch The Countdown though on New Year's?
We did. We were watching the Anderson Cooper, Neil Patrick Harris, Andy from Bravo special.
Yeah, and I saw that with Didn't
John Mayer made a little?
But didn't Nicki Minaj say something crazy?
We weren't watching the whole thing. We just watched like the last 10
got
seconds.
it. Yeah, of course. That's all that matters.
Did I tell you how I saw Neil Patrick Harris this summer?
You saw him what?
I saw Neil Patrick Harris. We were like closer than we are right now.
Where?
In the Hamptons.
Really?
Yeah, he was at the opening of our Hamptons office.
Is your agency like representative? Is that it?
Yeah. So Tyler, our New York rep, me in New York in the Hamptons, he was on $1 Million Listing actually. He's Neil's agent and he bought his Hamptons house, which is apparently like insane. He is a very handsome guy.
He is.
He is but he's just like in person.
Yeah.
You're just like, that's freaking Barney.
He's like statuesque, right? Yeah. He's like cheekbones and chin and all that stuff.
I wanted to get into the conversation because everyone's like, oh, like How I Met Your Mother, but Neil Patrick Harris and Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, I was gonna say White Castle.
Oh my goodness.
That's what brought his career back though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he's even stated that was the pivotal moment.
But even the Christmas one, Harold and Kumar.
Amazing.
Christmas. Yeah. I was talking to Jesse, one of our buddies, because we saw Harold and Kumar the first one together.
And then we drove to White Castle.
We talked about driving to White Castle.
No, we did.
We did not drive.
Me, you, and Zelny went to Chicago.
Yeah, that was later. I'm talking about me, you, and Jesse at 1 a.m. Let's go to White Castle.
Yeah.
We were like map questing how far it is to go to Detroit.
Yes, not that day, but we did eventually get there. Okay, so here we are. We're I don't know 10 minutes into this podcast.
Yes,
people are waiting.
They are.
They're on the edge of their seats. And so first of all, obviously you're a dad now.
I am.
But let's kick things off before I find out how it's been, how it's going, where it's going, what you're doing. Are you doing it right? Are you doing it wrong?
I just got shivers.
I know, because I said you're a dad.
It still hasn't really sunk in.
Scares you.
A little bit.
He's so cute.
He is.
And his name is
Asher Jacob.
Asher Jacob.
I
love it.
Thank you.
Spell it out for those people who don't know how to
spell. Jess came up with the name Asher. She had she had naming rights for that. I got to name the middle name. He's named Jacob after I'm already getting he's named Jacob after one of my very good buddies who passed away suddenly 2 years ago.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, I knew that your buddy passed away. I didn't know that's who you named it after.
Yeah. So Jake, who's huge part of my life.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned him on a previous podcast.
Yeah. So,
Asher Jacob.
Yeah. It's a crazy story. So we had a planned C-section.
Yeah.
And he was
so take us back. So hold on. He's 6 weeks old now.
Yeah. As of Wednesday, he was 6 weeks on Wednesday.
So he's 6 weeks. So take us back 6 weeks ago.
So he was supposed to be born December 4th.
Okay.
And we stayed at Jess, my wife's grandparents. She went up a week early.
Yeah.
So she went up the week of November 27th.
Yeah. And you were staying there because you're doing renovations here to prepare for the baby.
So the plan was I was going to stay here. Renos were going to start in a couple of days. I was going to hang out with my dog Brooklyn because she wasn't coming with us to Jess's grandparents. Yeah, so that's the Monday. Jess went on the Monday. I stayed on a mattress on my floor because all the furniture has been all moved because we were doing the renos.
Yeah.
Tuesday rolls around and normal day, start off the day. I dropped Brooklyn off at daycare because I had to go do a bunch of stuff. I had to drop off our floors go to the flooring store because we got a call the day prior being like, hey, sorry, we messed up. We don't have your
shit's going all
floors.
wrong, of course.
Everything's going wrong. I'm on the way to lunch with one of my business partners and Jess calls me and she's like, don't freak out. And I'm just like, okay, we're having the baby tomorrow. I'm like, what?
And so at this point, it's a week early to how early? From the planned C-section,
like 9-10 days. Yeah.
So 10 days before you were ready.
Yeah, like we had like the weekend. We're just like, you know what? Let's not stay at your grandparents for the weekend. Let's go to the Shangri-La for the weekend. Like have a nice little, because the baby was supposed to come on the Monday and this was a Wednesday. So yeah, basically like 5 days or whatever it was. And I had that all booked. And it was going to be like a nice little send off. Like, you know, the two of us just,
last chance together by yourselves.
Exactly. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, like they need to move it to tomorrow at 7 a.m.
And did they give you a reason why?
It's something about like the hospital was updating their systems and like I don't know. So
we're doing a software update, so we're gonna need to bring that baby out a week and a half early.
Well, yeah, and like I don't have the car seat in. I've never put a car seat in. My place is in shambles.
Well, I was gonna say because you're all like already on the planned C-section, you were already like not behind schedule, but you had to like move out and do because you're doing renovations. So already like you're kind of scrambling in the sense that you want to get everything done as soon as possible.
Yeah. And I'm such a scheduled person that like, if you change something in my schedule, it like fucks up my whole day.
Shut down.
It just cause I'm so eyes. Like I'm mentally prepared and like, I had to go get the dog food. Like there was so much stuff I needed to do. And I found out at like 2 p.m. because I called you. And I was like, we're having the baby tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Schreiber came over because he was like helping rushed over to help me like get the car seating, which is super fucking easy to do.
It is easy.
It's just like
when it's your first baby, you like want to make sure it's done perfectly right.
The hard part of the car seat is actually putting him in the car seat. And the strappy things, there goes our clip thing.
Yeah, we also got new clip things. That's okay. You can grab it. Strapping them in, getting them right. And also like, again, when it's your first baby, you're nervous. Is it too tight? Do you put the fingers in? Is it pulliness?
Yeah. So they came over for around 5 o'clock. I knew I wasn't sleeping. I had to be at the hospital for 7 a.m. So when I know I had to be up somewhere, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It was, the surgery was at 7. I had to be there for 6 a.m. So they came over. We like chilled until like, I want to say like 1-ish.
Yeah.
I did not sleep.
Yeah, because you're also probably excited. Like, were you excited?
I was nervous, and like I like had to go like drop stuff off at the dog nanny for Brooklyn, and I forgot half of it. I had to go back. Like I was a wreck.
Yeah, Schreiber, between me and you and everyone watching. Yeah, Schreiber called me and he's like, "Paul is a wreck."
Yeah, I was.
He's like sitting on the floor on a mattress, like with all these things that he has to do, but he can't do anything. So he's in like this kind of like shook mode of like, I got to do stuff, but I don't know where to start.
That's the thing. And I'm ADHD, right? So like when it's called like, it's something, it freezes you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, like I'm not with Jess. Like Jess must be freaking out as well. And she was probably having like a freaking calm, relaxed time where I'm just like, I don't know where anything is. I'm
driving around.
I had to pack for a month.
Yeah.
Because I was gone for a month.
Yeah. That's the other other variable
and
to
like
this.
Everything was all over. It was a nightmare. I leave. Schreiber somehow is like, I come home, he's eating Chinese food. I was like, where did you get that Chinese food? And he's like, your fridge. And I was just like,
that's 3 months old.
No, dude, it was literally probably like 3.5 weeks old. It was like at the back of the fridge. We didn't.
He's Israeli. He's got a stomach of steel. He can eat anything.
It was like, and Simon and I were just like, who are you? And anyways, yeah. So
that's so Schreiber. That's like reminds me of like when, remember back in like elementary school, Schreiber would just like come to my house at lunch, even when I'm not there, and just like pull shit out of the fridge and just start eating.
Hasn't
that makes
changed
sense. Okay, so it was frantic. So would you? Listen. I'm going to say that's a little bit of like fatherhood karma. It's like that's what babies are all about. It's like nothing's happening on schedule, nothing's happening to plan. nothing's going exactly as you wanted it to go.
Yeah.
And it just threw you into the fire head first.
And it was just like, yeah, I
you're
needed
surviving.
I was like looking forward to the week to like decompress, go to the gym, like, you know, just center myself for this baby to come.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Exactly what's that's within 1-2 days, that's exactly like the umbrella description of what having a kid is like. It's like you want to do all these things and nothing ever goes exactly as the way you want it to go.
Yeah. So I remember I like took a shower at like 4:30 in the morning. Everything's like
Forgot
all
to
torn
put the water
apart.
on. I was in there for 20 minutes before I even put the water on.
I was just sitting there being like, I like sat down in my shower. I was like, fuck, like this is happening. Like it's go time. So I get ready. I go to the hospital. I meet Jess there.
Yeah, it was like you met her there. You didn't
met her
pick her
there.
up.
I drove. No, she came with her mom.
Yeah.
Her mom drove her down. And like rolled there at 6.
Yeah.
And it all happened so freaking quick,
right?
man. Yeah. So I threw on some scrubs. I like posted on Reddit being like, it's go time. And
posted on Reddit?
Yeah. I'm big on the Reddit thing, man.
You post on Reddit?
I do. Well, yeah, to, you know, prop up this freaking podcast.
Was it podcast specific, the post? Or was
no,
it just like
it was
dad?
in like a dad thread.
Got it.
Yeah. And people are like, why are you wearing scrubs? I didn't. Reddit's like it's hilarious to me. Anyways, Jess was like calm. I'm like freaking out.
Sedated.
Yeah. And so they roll her in and we meet the OB. The OB goes through everything. We're sitting in the bed and like, this is at probably around like 6:30. And they're like, do you want to like come into the room? I was like, yeah, obviously I'm going to come into the room. They're like, you going to cut the cord? I was like, absolutely not.
You didn't cut it?
No, absolutely not. Well, we got ways away to there.
What does it mean ways away? Oh, you're the story about it?
Oh yeah. So
I also like for the first two, I was too afraid to cut it, whatever. But for the C-section, for some reason it seemed less
but you're also
frantic.
It's less frantic because it's your third time, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like my first one, I don't know if it was because it was like a typical birth or it was my first time, but I didn't want to do it. But third time around and C-section, it was just almost like the way that the baby was brought out. It was like it was in arm's reach without me having to like walk around to the north and like get down and dirty. So what's happening now?
So they start rolling her in and they're like, you need to sit outside.
Did you have to wear a mask too?
Yes. Yeah, I was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting outside by myself. Jess is in there. And I'm just like waiting.
I sat exactly where you sat. It's like quiet. It's silent in that area. Yeah.
Like silent.
It's fun.
And I was like, can I get some water? And so she gives me
sure,
like,
this is not a restaurant.
Yeah, I was like, sparkling, please. And
a little slice of lemon.
Hot towel.
Little slice of lemon.
I need a hot towel. So then they bring me in and Jess is there and there's like the sheet up. And
did you stay? And you stayed
beside her. I was beside her the whole time.
But like north of the sheet.
Yeah, north of the sheet. Like the sheet was separating us and the OB. And Levinsky, her OB, was awesome.
She's the best.
So they're going. I'm like having a conversation with Jess. I'm like, you good? Like, you know, you got this. Like, you're gonna be awesome. And like, she's going through a major fucking surgery. Like, a C-section is a major surgery.
Yeah.
So I turned to the anesthesiologist. I was just like, have you guys started?
And did you like the anesthesiologist is almost like the most, it's funny. Like I didn't realize how important they are in that whole process.
Dude, they make so much money too.
They make tons of money, but they're the person
who keeps her alive.
Who keeps her alive, but calls it off, calls it on, makes the decisions. Like the anesthesiologist is the main doctor in many ways, which I didn't even recognize. So you said what to the anesthesiologist?
Because Jess and I are having a full conversation. I was like, have you guys? I'm like, have you guys started? They're like, oh yeah, we're in her right now.
Yeah,
I was
and she can't feel it, right?
Nothing. No, her blood pressure was going up and down. So she was getting a little nauseous. Yeah. All of a sudden, so I'm like looking at Levinsky. She's talking to me. Blood splatter in her face, like right out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I was just like
a cheesy horror movie.
Like it looked fake. And she's just like wiping it off and it keeps going.
Just another day at the office.
She's like, do you get your camera ready? Like, are you ready? And she just like pulls him out and he's there and he starts crying right away, which is great because with C-section babies, you never know.
Yeah.
And they passed it to Jess and it was crazy. So they're sewing her back up and they bring him to like the warming area. They're making sure all his vitals are good and everything's perfect. So how
much did he weigh?
I don't remember offhand.
This is your first and only baby. You don't know his weight?
I had like numbers. He was like, I told you, he was like 8'7". He was like 8'5", 8'6".
So he's big.
He's a big baby. His feet
big boy.
He's a big boy. Yeah. So they're bringing him over and like he just grabs my finger right away.
Like in the movie.
like literally like in a movie. And like it was all like everything we were talking about came into play. Like how like I'm like, what if I don't connect with him? And I
So
I
what
was
was
like,
the
I was a puddle.
Were you?
Oh yeah.
Did you a puddle as in like overwhelming or like instant love?
It was just like it was like an instant love. Like an instance. I'm a very sensitive guy when it comes to that though, even though I am dead on the inside.
Yeah, you're either like full left or full right.
It's wild how my brain works because like I'm like that with animals. I'm like that with certain people, but other stuff I just don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like I just don't.
All right, so you got a small circle.
Yeah, it's a small circle of love.
Small circle of love.
A circle of love.
Keep going. So did you? So did it's funny when we did the C-section. Levinsky like brought Atlas out and like held him for like pictures.
That's what she
right?
did.
She's like this and this, like it was like a photo shoot. Like the urgency for me, even though it's like you said, it's a major surgery, it felt more calm because I guess there's like you said, it's quick. There's less pushing. There's less like that whole experience.
Was way faster than I thought it was going to be.
So fast, the C-section.
Yeah, it was like 30 minutes in and out.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like talking to Asher. And
you're talking to Asher?
I was talking to
What's up, man? How you doing?
Like, what's up, dude?
What's up, bro?
Yeah. She's like, how'd you get here? I was your ride. It was pretty sweet. So, yeah, just like having small talk with my kid, being like, you're gonna have the best life ever.
And you were holding him at this point?
I held him. She had to pass him to me because I was scared to pick him up.
She wrapped him up first. So just his face is
like
sticking
a baby
out.
burrito. Yeah. So and he's beautiful, like such a good looking kid.
So can we use this opportunity now to post a picture of him?
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. Here
Asher.
He is. Here's him on the day he's born.
Oh, we're gonna go through a whole slideshow.
No, just two pictures. The day he's born.
Here it is.
And him right now.
I have video. I can ask Jess if we want to.
We'll post some stuff.
But so then I'm just noticing like the plethora of bloody towels on the floor by Jess because I walked by it, so I saw her cut. I saw her cut open and everything, and like
it looks like an alien's. Like it's like,
wild. I'm like a massive, as I said before, massive horror fan, and this was intense. So Levinsky comes out, she's like, "Oh, Dad, like you're doing so good," and blah blah blah. He's beautiful. She lost a lot of blood over there. I was like, "What?" She's like, it's a ginger thing. She lost a lot of blood.
Yeah, but was she worried? She's pretty calm.
She wasn't worried. No, she was just calm and collected. And she's like, all right, I'm out. These guys like round of applause for everyone. I'll see you. Peace out.
And then they bring you.
Smoke bomb, leaves.
Yeah. Did you do the fire thing? It was a plethora placenta.
Yeah.
Plethora
and like they like took some stuff or.
Yeah. Did you do the cord blood stuff?
We did. Yeah. We did all that stuff.
Yeah. So can we talk about that for a second? Because I feel
know nothing about it, but
that's the thing is I feel a lot of dads don't know about it. And it's a big part of like.
Stem cells?
Well, it's a big part of like modern day giving birth. Like obviously we didn't have that when we were born.
No.
And now this whole thing and it's interesting. If there's any doctors out there that watch this, I really want to know. Like I really want to know, and I don't know if this comes across offensive, and I hope it doesn't, but it's a real question I have. Is it a scam? Or is it real? Like
it's real.
It's expensive. It's real. Yeah, it's real. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying like it's an insurance. Right.
Okay, yeah.
It's put the blood, you take cord blood stem cells and you freeze them and you got to pay like yearly to keep them frozen and all this stuff.
All that stuff.
If God forbid something in the future goes wrong where they need the stem cells for the research and for the whatever, all the million different reasons. But when I say, is it a scam? I don't mean necessarily like, is it a scam? Like, does it work or does it not work? It's more like, the cost of it, like the amount we pay yearly for this, like
it's a lot.
Thing, is maybe it costs them $50. Like I don't know what it's supposed to
storage.
cost.
It's probably
so right. Yeah. So I just wonder if like because it's insurance and it's like how could you? And if you don't do it, no judgment. But how could in my mind how could you not? Because God forbid you need it, and you made that decision.
But it's also
there's different levels now. It's like bone marrow and stem cells and all these different things.
You don't know about this ahead of time. So it's kind of like when you go up to in a grocery store line, they're like, hey, do you want to donate to sick kids?
Yeah.
And they put you on the spot. You're just like, yes.
Oh, so you just found about it. Nobody
told us. I guess maybe because
that could have been a question I should have told you ahead of time.
Yeah. And it's maybe because everything was so rushed. And,
that's true. That's true.
Because she was supposed to also get like some kind of like drink before to make like the scar, and there was a lot of stuff that I feel like we didn't do because it was so rushed.
Left the baby there,
and then so they wheeled Jess out. We're in our room, and I forgot to mention like Jess and I were really sick. So this was the Friday after the Wednesday after we filmed the 2 last episodes.
Yeah.
And I was just getting really sick. My back was fucked.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, my back was, and I guess I got RSV, and it was like real bad.
Yeah.
We kept testing negative for COVID. And so we booked a private room, and
Yeah.
they're like, we don't have a private room available. And I was like, excuse me.
That happens.
I was like, do you know who I am? Like, what? They,
Pull out the business card.
I was just like, I will freaking, so
I will blast you on my
just
YouTube
like, yeah,
channel.
like, you don't want to turn this freaking, you don't want to start this freaking beef because I will.
I'm an
ruin you.
influencer. I'll talk really good about the core blood if you give it to us for free. I'll do a post for you.
No, but what ended up happening, because we were both visibly sick,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh yeah, we need to get you into your own room. So we ended up getting a private room because
that's
we were
good.
so sick. And then it was
There
just
you
the
go.
2 of us. And we're like, this baby is awesome. So quiet.
Yeah.
Waking up, super cute. He latched right away. Jess was breastfeeding right away. Everything was awesome.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, he's so strong. Like all the nurses were like, this is a really strong baby.
Yeah.
And he was like, just perfect baby. And slept the night. We're like,
This is the
easy.
first night.
First night.
And the nurses come every few hours
every
to
few
check,
hours.
right?
Everything
Like,
was great. I was like ordering Uber Eats. Like the food court in the hospital was great. I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is super easy. Second day rolls around. Same thing. Perfect baby.
yeah.
Then we hear about cluster feeding.
Yep.
That baby did not stop eating or crying. And it happens like right after the second day, apparently.
Were you, how many days were you at the hospital
So we
for?
spent 2 nights at the hospital.
And what time did you leave in the third day? Like, was it a full
So
day
we
there
left-
or you left in the
No, we
morning?
left probably around like 2 p.m.
Got
So
it.
we're driving right to Jess's grandparents' house, which is probably an hour out of the city.
Hold on, before you get to that point.
Yeah.
So, like, he's cluster feeding at the hospital on
At the-
day 3?
Yeah.
Like the morning of?
Yeah. And he starts getting like aggressive with the feeding.
And
always
now
wanting
they're
to be
saying you
fed.
have to go.
Exactly.
And do they do the hearing test already?
They did this. So they almost didn't do the hearing test. And this kid wasn't reacting to anything.
What do you
like-
mean they almost didn't do it?
They like were like, you might have to come back and do it.
Oh, because they didn't have
Because they were just
They
like
got time for
behind
you?
on stuff,
I
right?
got time for this.
And I was like, no, we're doing the hearing test because I was worried because like he wasn't reacting to loud noises.
Yeah.
He wasn't reacting to like we were watching like a show on
Just
the
yelling,
laptop.
baby,
but
baby.
But seriously, he wasn't reacting, and I was a little worried about that. And that was something I told Jess. I'm like, they need to do the hearing test. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a musician.
You're not
like,
leaving until
music is such a huge part of my life. Like him
Yeah.
hearing is
you're
like,
like you'll become like Mr. Holland's Opus.
yeah, exactly. That's a great fucking movie.
Great
Wow.
movie
I haven't-
where your son was. It's exactly the story that went on in your mind.
Yeah, it's a great freaking movie. But so they did the hearing test, and we had some visitors come to the hospital. Like my parents came, Jess's parents or
And was Jess
grandparents.
comfortable with all that?
Yeah, she was fine. We were
Yeah.
very selective. Like you spaced it out, so it wasn't too bad. But
For
we
sure.
did get enough alone time as well.
Yeah.
I got to sleep on a chair for a couple of days. That was fantastic. It's definitely not the Four Seasons.
No, it's the chair that turns into kind of a bed.
Oh yeah, if you want to go with that.
But and you're also really tall,
I'm
so
like
I guarantee your feet hung off
6'3".
it.
Yeah, no pillows.
No
So I
pillows.
was-
No, you bring but you weren't prepared.
I wasn't prepared to bring freaking
Yeah.
pillows. So
No sheet. And tell me this. Can
no
I ask you a
sheets.
question?
Yeah,
But the mom gets everything.
Everything.
Rightfully so.
sure.
But like there's not a moment in that hospital where they ask how you're doing, right?
No,
They don't bring you a sheet. They
nothing.
don't bring you a pillow.
Well, I asked
when
them,
they
they're like,
bring
"Sorry."
food, they bring her only.
Just for her. Yeah.
Do you think that I think there's something wrong with the medical system where the father is ignored at that stuff? Obviously, it's not equal.
Yeah.
Obviously, that goes
yeah,
without
yeah.
saying. But you have to be there. Like you're not you're gonna go maybe walk out and grab something to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're sleeping there.
Mhm.
You're eating there. You're staying there.
I was working too. I
You're
was
working there?
I was in the middle of having a deal almost fall apart.
Yeah.
It was just
It's like, I just had a baby. And they're like, fine, we'll let you go through with it. But that's my point is that like I think like on Alice, I was like very just like inertly
You were pissed.
like I was just angry. I'm like they didn't even look at me.
no.
They don't look at like I'm like and I would go, can I get a
Nobody
sheet?
cares about
No,
Daniel.
we've done that joke already. But like I don't get it because to be
Yeah.
honest, it doesn't add any more work. Maybe it adds extra money. Imagine having to feed basically double the amount of people,
Yeah.
right? So maybe that part of it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's strange as a father because you almost feel, and did you feel this way? I felt almost like an outsider. Like they're talking to the mom more. They're coming in and just like walking up to this and doing these things, and I'm standing there like.
Were you not trying to have conversations with these people? Did you ask them how they were doing?
I did. I checked in.
Did
Yeah,
you?
we thank them. We do all the
Yeah.
things. Yeah, I'm very hospitable.
To be honest,
I'm a good house guest.
I'm happy I didn't get the food.
Yeah,
liked the
obviously
food
I would have
court.
said no to the
I
food too,
ordered,
but
Jess was eating some pizza. Like I ordered pizza. Like it was a good time.
yeah, they have a sub there, the tacos, I think.
Yeah, there's like an aroma. Like it's a pretty good.
And Tim
food
Hortons
court.
obviously is a quick grab,
Oh,
quick,
it's like
easy.
it's across the street. But yeah, there was a second.
Weren't
cup.
you in Sinai?
We were in Sinai.
They have a Tim Hortons in there.
They do.
Yeah,
There was I knew there was a second
I
cup.
think
but
they do.
don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure I went down to it a few times,
Maybe I don't know.
but maybe you're right. I don't
been a
know. It's
while.
been a while.
So yeah, so we're driving home in a snowstorm.
Before you drive home,
Oh, man,
do they
you
do?
just keep pulling me
Because
back.
I want to hear the story.
Did you-
Do they do the check of the car seat?
Yeah, so Jess,
To
that
make
was
sure?
like I was stressed. I was not sleeping at all, and Jess's mom explained how to put him in the car seat, but like so fast. And
Yeah.
then she left, and we didn't know what we were doing.
And did you like put buffers around his head
It
and
was just
stuff?
like
Were
it
you
was
like
a lot. It
nervous
was
about that?
yeah, and like if I'm like frustrated, like I get in my head a lot, and
Yeah.
it was tough. And driving home, like I was supposed to get like the wipers replaced on my car before. That was supposed to happen on the Wednesday, but obviously we had the baby, so I couldn't do that.
Baby
And
ruined the plan.
yeah, well, it was just like not how I wanted it to go. And then so we're driving.
To any parents out there, they're just laughing
Yeah,
to
I
themselves
know.
like the dad. This is not how I expected or wanted it to go.
Yeah.
It's exactly
So-
how it should go.
Yeah, and then we're driving like an hour out of the city. I've never driven with a baby in the car.
Yeah.
We go and we pick up.
And you don't
Chandler.
like to drive to begin with.
I like to drive when I'm by myself
Yeah.
because then I'll drive like 170 and like
That's
I
horrible.
I was like meeting you. I was like, oh, my car just hit 170. It's like sweet.
Yeah,
This is awesome.
I remember that.
I was like on 45 minutes on sleep.
And that's why you can't go back to Buffalo from all the speeding tickets you got on the other side of the border.
That wasn't me. That was you.
That was me, whatever.
That was you.
I can change the story. It's my
Yeah,
podcast.
Anyways,
Um,
state troopers.
So you're driving back, you're nervous.
We're driving, yeah, and it was like a snowstorm.
And so are you
Jess is
alone in the
stressed.
car with
It was
just
me, Jess, the baby, and Chandler.
Got
All
it.
of us with my car packed with stuff.
And how was the baby during the drive?
Silent,
Quiet.
totally silent until like the last 10 minutes. And then I was just like, this is a lot, baby crying.
I
I'm
know.
stressed. I'm flustered. When I get flustered, I shut down emotionally and I just went, oh, blah, blah, blah. So we get to the house and then
And was everything there set up already for you? Or was it comfortable?
Like they had the,
It's not easy, even if it's comfortable. It's not easy going into not your environment,
Listen,
regardless of
like,
how accommodating and how great it is. It's
it
not
was-
your place, right?
we had like our own like movie theater. Like
Yeah.
it was like pretty sweet. Our own kitchen, bathroom, all that kind of stuff. Cause we were downstairs.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, it wasn't our
not
own
your stuff.
space. But yeah, so she was all set up. They had everything all set up before. First night was fairly decent, from what I'm trying to remember. And then like
and then it all changed.
it's just like we didn't like he was crying. We thought he had colic at one point. I think I messaged like you about it.
yeah, I
and,
rushed to
like,
meet you to get you a colic type chair.
Yeah, and it just ended up that he wasn't like feeding enough from the breast milk, so we switched to pumping with a bottle, mixing in some formula. So then like he was great and like he was super awesome. There was like literally one day though, like I was in the city and I was in Yorkville and Jess called me. She's like we need to take him to the hospital because I don't know what's going on. Like he is like screaming his head off. He won't calm down. He just wouldn't calm down. Like her grandfather, like typical like big dude, like
Yeah.
never, like was almost reduced to tears with how this baby was, and
like upset about it or annoyed by it.
upset,
Yeah.
because we just couldn't figure it out. So we brought him to the hospital, and
Yeah.
I like rushed back down. I've like never been so panicked in my life, and it was rush hour,
Yeah,
literally like 4:30, having to
Ugh.
get out of the city,
horrible.
right? And I'm just
Why
like,
did you? Couldn't you have gone to a hospital near you? Like you don't need to go to the same one that.
I wasn't with Jess. Jess was at home.
Oh, I see.
She was at the grandparents. I was in the city because I had appointments. So
And so she was going to a hospital near her.
yeah,
and you
in
had to rush
Georgetown.
up
So
there.
like I was coming back and forth to the
Got
city
it.
because of work,
Yeah,
and because like all of December, we had all of December,
yeah.
and so I like rushed back, and I was like super fucking panicky. I didn't like, even when I take my dog to the vet, I get freaking nervous, and
Yeah.
like I didn't know what to expect. I was like thinking the worst because internally you never know what's wrong. Maybe there was like something like serious.
Something that you've never even heard of,
Exactly,
right? Like it
right?
could be anything.
So we saw the doctor there, and they're like, listen, like he was a younger guy. He's like, I feel like he's too young to have colic. This was like 3 weeks in.
Yeah,
He's like, he's too young. He's too young. He's too young. So they made an appointment with a pediatrician the next day, and the pediatrician was awesome. He's like, listen, your baby is like super healthy. He's not getting enough food. Like I guarantee you, if you were bottle feeding him,
he's hungrier.
he's just anytime he's crying, like I guarantee you, it's because he's hungry.
Yeah, they just want.
And that's what it was. And he became such like a perfect baby. Obviously I've held him now.
And no jaundice, so he's not a pirate.
No jaundice. No
He's not a
scurvy.
pirate.
He's not a pirate.
That's good. Yeah.
And then, so we spent like about 4 weeks there and came back to our house New Year's Eve, back and forth because we were renovating. So I was like going on no sleep.
Yeah.
I was driving, like literally sleeping for maybe 2 hours, driving in the city, working, like dealing with clients or real estate stuff or whatever. Then me and my buddy Simon were painting.
Yeah.
And we ripped off wall. Like our place was like fully custom. The people before us fully got it like custom done with an interior designer. Like we're talking like probably $40,000 worth of wallpaper.
Yeah.
But the way that they did it, like they really fucked up the walls. So
Yeah.
like we spent so many times like
spackling and smoothing
everything
and sanding.
like mudding and just, it was
Mudding.
just, I was driving. Like,
Caulking.
there were some nights where I slept here
Yeah.
on a mattress on the floor.
Which be honest, was a little bit of a nice relief.
No, seriously, I didn't sleep.
Really?
I couldn't sleep.
I just
couldn't
feel like
sleep.
like knowing that you can sleep, knowing that you're not gonna be woken
But
up
I
in the
also
night.
didn't know when the contractor was coming
In the morning
and, like,
and
in the
so,
morning.
yeah.
So like I was like, I just didn't want to run into him. So I was like out of the house by 7, back to the grandparents' house by like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then worked all day, hung out with them all day, came back.
Because we did that too. Like when Joey was born,
Yeah.
we were renovating our house
Mhm.
and we were living with a combination of my parents and her parents, a little bit of both,
Yeah.
not like in stints. And I would also like leave the hospital or leave the house to go like check in on our house because someone has to oversee that, make sure
Yeah.
it's happening and things
Yeah.
are being done. And you have a story that, like, and you have some funny stories just about the renovation, right?
Just like,
Just like it wasn't. I mean,
didn't.
your renovator's not watching this. You can probably talk openly.
but it's also not that I want to get into it, but like some stuff is like, it just didn't go to as plans.
as renovations typically do. And just like stuff like, it's just, I don't want to get into it because like it might get into a bigger situation because it's not done yet fully,
It's-
and so
we're not-
and you don't want to like burn that bridge.
Oh no,
God
that we're
forbid.
not using him ever again.
Yeah.
It's just like stuff went like might have been taken from us. It's just not. It wasn't a good situation.
I will find you,
Yeah.
and I will kill
We
you.
have cameras, so let's just leave it at that. So it
and
wasn't. It
how-
didn't go as planned.
Yeah.
So
but
we
it's-
like rushed to get in here. My date, I was like, we are moving back here December 31st.
it's happening.
It's happening. I don't care what happens.
and so you moved on December 31st.
on December 31st, my assistant Athena, her boyfriend owns a moving company, so he like helped us move. It was
Did you have
just
a lot
like,
of stuff though?
it was a lot, yeah, man. Because like
It adds up. Like
it's not only that; it's just like everything was from upstairs. It was downstairs because we renovated our upstairs.
you have to move stuff within the house.
As you can't see behind the cameras, like in the studio room, like
It's
there's a ton of shit.
It's terrible.
And we had flooring that was in here that like
Had to
he-
go.
Yeah, and he didn't tell us the right amount of flooring to get, so we got less. So it's a different dye lot. There was a lot going
Okay.
on. I used Jiffy for like 5 different products.
Really?
So Jiffy sponsor this freaking podcast.
Please.
Because like
We're
the
not good
amount
at
that I
building things.
use you is just, well, no, I was building shit. I built this chair.
This is our new guest chair because this actually is a good time to say that this new little love seat, this couch,
We're
so
set
to
up for
speak,
guests
we're
now.
set up for guests. So this season we're gonna have more guests on.
Yeah.
Hear some different perspectives. Giving Paul different pieces of advice, so it's not just me.
Well, yeah, it's not only that. It's just like entrepreneurs we can bring on, just any dads that are cool.
We want to learn about dads across the board.
Across the board.
And so, how soon, once you got back, like out of the hospital, did you visit your? Because I know that you were saying that you were looking for a pediatrician. Did you visit like the baby's Asher's pediatrician?
Well, we came into the city a couple of times. Like,
Yeah.
we went to see her like 3 weeks a weekend.
Yeah, but like,
everything.
what was the first time? Like, how was that? Like the day?
It was great. It was
Like, was it 2 days after? Like, usually they see them right away
it
or
was a
pretty
week.
close.
So it was a Wednesday. It was the following Wednesday, I believe, that we came into the city.
Yeah,
And our doctor's also in Toronto and in Yorkville. And she's
Yeah.
one of my clients too. Sarah, you're awesome.
and she's nice and she's great.
She's phenomenal. Yes. I've known her for 13, 14. She's one of my oldest clients.
Yeah.
And she does my Botox to keep me looking pretty.
Does she really?
I'm not afraid to admit it. Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah, man, that's right.
you're so vain.
I've been doing it for years.
But you look fine without
That's why, man.
it. I've never had it, and I look amazing.
Yeah, that's not what the comments are saying. So we brought her in, and even then, like, I know I stayed in the city because I went to actually the house to do stuff, and just went. Her mom came in, and they went back to Georgetown, and it was just a lot of back and forth.
How far is Georgetown from here?
So Georgetown is probably 45
How do you even
minutes.
get there? I don't even know where it is.
It's like those outlets, the
Yeah.
fashion outlets of Trafalgar.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so their place is like 25 minutes past that.
Got it.
And it's near like where I picked up
Nice
my dog,
area?
Brooklyn.
Like,
yeah,
is the area
it's fantastic.
beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's
Feel like
great.
you're in the country.
Yeah, like,
You
seriously.
wear like overalls and like rounding up cows and shit.
He actually, her grandfather owned a cattle farm.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my dream, man.
Which is also funny.
It's my dream. I want to live on a farm one day.
So my dad is an engineer. Jess's grandfather owned and started an engineering company. And my dad actually worked for him like 50 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. That's how crazy the connection between Jess and I. He was like one of the first like 15 employees at the company. Yeah, Jess's grandfather and my dad.
That's crazy.
It's wild. So we got back home and it's been awesome. Like he's been so good. He's like sleeping. Like Jess just took a bath with him the other day and it was like adorable. Like he was like,
did you film it?
Yeah.
Are you filming everything?
We're filming everything. Yeah. Taking
you got to
lots of photos, going for walks with him.
And how was the first? I know that you mentioned on the pod not so long ago that you've never held a baby before.
Yeah.
How's holding him?
You
feel comfortable? You feel awkward?
You know, at first it was like picking him up always kind of worried me.
You get nervous about the head too, right? Like you got to support the neck, support the head.
But I think like I showed it, like sent it to you, like he rolled like really
He's
early.
pretty strong.
He's a very strong
Yeah.
baby. Like he's like pulling himself up. If he's down here, he'll crawl his way up my body. Like he's a big boy. He's like super.
And you got a big torso, so that's a lot for him.
It's like 14 kilometers. He's
he had like Sherpas with him. It's like, we're going up Paul's body.
He's got blue eyes and
but you didn't know that right away because all babies' eyes are pretty blue when they're born, but you can see the clouding is fading. And I saw as soon as I got here today, because today was the first day I saw him in person. I'm like, yeah, he's got blue eyes.
He does.
Crazy. He looks. He's a cute kid.
He's a
cute baby.
He's a very, very cute. We get a lot of compliments on him, and
we're very happy with him. We'll keep him.
Yeah, he's Jess is like, let's get him into modeling already. And I was just like calling up Norbert. I was like, hey Norbert,
take a look at this.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. Like getting into the swing of thing. This was like the first week back of me working fully.
Yeah.
So and just like to be honest, like getting stoked to get back on camera doing this again, just because like it's a nice.
We've been hyping it up for 12.
But it's not even that. It's like it's a nice outlet. Like it's a good creative outlet to do it, and like it's been great. Everyone who's been watching or messaging has been awesome about him, and he has every time I hold him, he pukes on me. So like even before we filmed the chest, like, can you just hold him for a second? I was like, no, put him in the.
I'm in wardrobe.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm in all black.
Yeah, if he and he's here right now in this house because we're in your house. So if he starts to cry, I'm gonna like try to turn the mic out just so people can feel, feel like they're here with us.
Yeah, Jess has been doing like he's only waking up like. Last night he woke up twice at like 3 a.m, and then again at 7.
And how are you? Are you like kind of dividing responsibilities? We talked about this, but like, are you waking up sometime, or is it really just because she's breastfeeding a lot?
She's breastfeeding, so it's mostly hard for the feeding.
And Asher's in the room with you guys.
He's sleeping in his bassinet beside us, and
so it's easy, it's quick. It's not like she's like.
And I haven't changed a diaper yet. Somehow, I swear. Not one diaper has been changed on my behalf.
Oh my God. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to arrange. If I can arrange this, I'm going to arrange this. I'm going to arrange the first time on the couch here. We're going to bring him down. Not today. Not for the first episode. He's like, I just built that couch. No, we'll lay down a blanket.
Okay.
You're changing him live on thing. We'll blur out all the parts. Don't worry. We're going to keep this legit.
Yeah.
But I think everyone should be a part of your first change.
Yeah.
We'll go viral.
It's every time. She's like, hey, what do I do? I was like, oh no, I'm in the middle of something.
Oh
I don't even think it's that bad because like
it's not bad, especially
she's
now.
breastfeeding because it doesn't apparently smell that bad if you're breastfeeding.
Bad. Wait till they start eating
but
solids.
I will
food.
tell you. So last week.
Yeah.
Jess is like, hey, want to help me bathe him? I was like, yeah, 100%. So she goes in to change him. He just pooped. She's like, clean him off. He's in his like little towel thingy. And she's like, oh, like just hold him for a second. I hold him. Shits all over my leg and foot.
Sprays it or like drips it?
Like it was sprayed.
Oh.
It sprayed all over and brand new floors and everything. I'm just holding him up.
And what did it take a lot of like physical energy for you to just not like instantly drop him as like a reflex?
We both died laughing. No, I'm not going to drop my baby.
I know, but I'm saying like, it's the first time you're experiencing like, it might be an instinct to like, ooh, get this shit away from me.
It was so funny. It just exploded out of his ass all over my foot and leg. And I was just like,
were you wearing shoes?
No, I was like barefoot. I was ready to like.
That's better.
I was going to sit in the bath with him.
Oh.
And
you put him right into the, you're not bathing him in like a sink or anything?
So no, it's like we have a tub. So we have that little chair thing that he would bathe in, but he hates it. So like just like a couple of days ago, like went in the bath with him and was holding him and he like loves it. He's like started smiling, which is great. So he was like all smiling and stuff. And like, he absolutely freaking loved it. And yeah, so he shat on my foot. So that was great. I didn't tell you that because I want to save that for the podcast. But
it's gonna be a good clip,
man. It's been good. The back and forth really killed me because like I wasn't sleeping. I was like while
you were living out.
We had my office Christmas party, so I'm a part owner of a brokerage, and I needed to be there. It was a week. It was literally 8 days after he was born, and I promised my other business partners I would be there.
Yeah.
And it was in like Vaughan. It was at the...
But hold on a second. If it was 8 days after he was born and you promised them, he was supposed to be born like 8 days later. How could you have gone?
Because that's when he was born. I was like, okay. Well, I initially and Jess even said like, because he was supposed to be born on the Monday.
There's only so much you can do sometimes too. Like it's probably a nice break for her, for you to like, for her to spend some alone time and you to go out and calm down and get some air, right?
Yeah. And
I know that helped us a lot for sure.
So like I was driving and I was like, maybe like I want to say 45 minutes of sleep because he was all screaming. We didn't know what was going on. There were some like rough nights and like trying not to get mad at each other, and we'll touch base on that. But I don't even know how long we've been going for.
But yeah, we're good, but we can keep going. This is the first episode back. We're 48.
Oh, okay.
We got some time.
And we changed our set, so normally I can like see how long we've been going for.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I rolled in. Like I don't remember driving there. So yeah, it was the day that we actually met that we had to go right to the hospital. I was like on no sleep, and there were so many times that I felt like I was just in a daze.
Yeah, and that's what being a father is all about.
Yeah, but man,
you had a crash course. But listen, everyone has their stories, and the truth of the matter is that it's always, it never goes perfect. Like listen, when all my kids are born, we were going to the hospital every day for like minimum of 2 weeks to do blood tests in their feet. My kids were jaundiced, not pirates.
Scurvy.
They were jaundiced, right? So they had so many holes in their feet. They had bandages, and every day was like scary and treatment and all that shit. Yeah. So like, it's so crazy how common the fears of parents are, because it's the first time and you don't know what's happening. You're like, should I check this out? Should I do this? Should I do that? Usually your pediatrician helps you with that, so you don't have to run to a hospital. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's overwhelming and scary. And is it as overwhelming and scary as I've been making it out to potentially be these last 12 episodes?
No, to be honest, no. Not at all.
You feel a little more cruise control, feeling good about it at this point. I feel
like now that we're at home and in our own space, and I'm super thankful for, being able to spend time at her grandparents and some of the help that we got, but like being in our own space is just like, it's awesome. And like just having our little family unit,
was the dog?
So Chandler was
Chandler likes him.
Yeah, he's super protective of him whenever he was crying, like, or if we were watching a movie and letting him sleep in the other room, Chan would just go and sleep on the bed and just like watch him in the bassinet. And like, he's like, gets a little mopey because he like feels not left out, like not all the attention's on him.
Of course.
But like when you said like, oh, you're not gonna care about your pets, like, no, that hasn't been the case at all. Like, he's still like great.
Wait till Asher starts doing things and they're like, oh, Asher, it's amazing.
So we haven't introduced Brooklyn yet, just because she's older. She's 10, and so she's coming home on Monday. So I'm super excited.
Film it
for Brooklyn to meet him. Yeah. But like, man, I fucking love that kid so much. Like, it is
instant love. So it's not what I experienced. No. I loved my kids instantly. It's just different, but
still hasn't clicked in for him yet. He's still waiting to get that.
I'm gonna love them any day now. I feel
it's coming along.
It's coming.
But like, it's made everything, like, I am so much more driven at work to like, just blow up what I'm doing.
Yeah, it feels more important now, the things you do, right? Yeah, because you're doing it for someone else. And you did it for someone else with Jess, obviously, but it's like now you have a successor, right? Like now you have something that you created, that you want to create, like, someone that to be proud of you, and you're doing it for someone else now.
Yeah, I was just on a podcast, like a real estate podcast last week, and
you've been podcast cheating on me?
No,
is that what you fucking been saying?
I was a guest. I've been talking about our podcast. No, I was a guest, and I was just like the watches don't matter, the freaking cars don't matter. Like, it feels like I actually have like a real purpose now. And
you're a human.
I'm a human. I'm not just like a superficial piece of shit.
Yeah, you're now just superficial.
And like, I get so excited to come home and just like see him and hold him, and
Yeah.
just like he's just great.
And since we're filming this in your house, I feel like next episode or something in the future, we got to bring him on here, like, or at least have Jess like bring him in for a minute because we want to see him live. I can't do that with my
I
kids.
thought you
but-
wanted like his side of the story.
Yeah. What did you think of Paul as your dad?
How's
do you
he
like
doing?
him? So, okay. So we're not going to drag it. We can talk for a while, but I
Yeah.
will say this, like, what are some of the things that we can look forward to this season? Like, we mentioned we're going to have guests.
Yeah.
We're going to get some different cool perspectives.
Like I just want to, like everything, like having like, the entrepreneur dads, the like bring in like a child psychologist or something, like a divorce lawyer to see, like talk about like single dads.
Yeah.
Or,
Are you suggesting something?
no, not at all.
Okay, good.
And then like, that
was a joke, just
some
so you know.
some people who have gone through adoption. We want this to
More
be
perspectives of fatherhood.
rather than just like getting Paul ready and the checklist and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
we want to see, the fans want to see like the growth, the stories, because a lot of the stories happen when they're babies, right? Like there's so many fun baby stories as they go through their first times of things. So definitely keep us in the loop with that,
For sure.
because that'll be great. But yeah, I think that this season is going to be more amped up, more exciting. Now 2 perspectives of 2 dads, which is nice to have.
It's crazy.
Which is crazy. And like you said, the guests and the people, and of course, way more 90s nostalgia.
yeah, it's just we're going full force. This season's going to be way bigger than the last season.
Explosions, pyro, confetti.
Love scenes. What?
Is that why you got the love couch?
That's the love.
That's
couch.
where the dad collective after party goes down.
It's a crazy time with all the bottles and the boobies. I have not tried breast milk.
No?
No, I haven't.
Are you willing to?
No, it's not going to happen.
Try it.
No,
Do it.
it's just not. It is not happening. I have not done it. It's not going to happen.
If Jeremy was here, he'd be like, that's not appropriate to talk
It's
about.
not,
That's not appropriate.
We didn't do that.
That's not very nice.
Talk about the kids.
Talk about being a dad. He's not from the country.
But yeah, no, I'm stoked for the season. It's been, I've been looking forward to getting back in these seats again.
And living up to the name of the podcast.
There it is. So we've got to change all the bios because it's not one almost dad.
Yeah, change the bios and what outlets you have to change the bios
Oh,
on.
we're getting right into it. So
right into
if you are watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, which
You've changed it up. Remember, there's animation. So talk about the YouTubes and the likes and the
I
subscribes.
haven't gone. I'm getting into that.
No, but you started talking about the podcast.
All right. If you're listening and watching on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button.
There it is.
Hit the subscribe
You're
and
tired.
that little bell so you know when we upload.
Yep.
If you're listening
There it
with
is.
those 2 ears or 1 ear, however you decide to hear, we're all for the ways
We're
that
going
you're
to
here.
release a Morse code episode.
Yeah, one day. Make sure you rate the episode, share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Because we're all over the place. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on the Google. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Instagram, the TikTok.
Bing. Are we on Bing?
Is Bing still a thing?
Ask Jeeves?
No.
We're
we
not
don't
there.
ask Jeeves
Yahoo?
everything. Jeeves is a liar.
Lying son of a bitch.
But I appreciate you guys. It was a nice little outlet to have leading up to the big moment of Asher coming into this world.
Yeah.
And it was scary. And if you're a new dad, maybe we'll bring on a dad to be.
Dad to be.
A dad to
Or maybe,
be.
or even also another new dad. If anyone's out there just had a baby or is about to have a baby, message us. We'll bring you on.
Yeah.
We'll bring you on.
If you
Stay
want
in
to
it.
come on to the dad podcast, just let us know.
And get a nice suntan right by our
Yes,
giant
it's a
sign.
bright sign.
It's a bright
guys.
sign.
It's a bright sign. But yeah,
There we go.
here we go. Thanks so much for watching, guys, or listening.
I'm Daniel,
I'm Paul.
and this is now the Two Dad Collective Podcast.
We're not changing the name. It's the Dad Collective Podcast.
Dad Collective Podcast.
Thank you, guys. We
That was
love
nice,
you.
sir.
Till next time.
Till next time, where you'll see Paul change a diaper live.
On pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
And then I'll fight Jake Paul in a boxing ring.
While changing the diaper.
It's a good skill to have. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We love you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Peace out.
These things just pop off.
The guy